agendas here. Big agendas. Political agendas. Religious, philosophical, intellectual agendas. And they are playing out in the minds and the hearts of people, of you.
Para pengikut agama
Tahun sebelum kasusnya Pak Anand Krishna nomor 1.
When people ask me about my vision, it's nothing new. It's not an original vision. It's the vision of all the rishis, all the seers, sages of the ancient times. It's the vision of one earth, one sky, and one humankind. But the problem is how to realize this. To achieve the vision of one earth, one sky, one humankind, first of all is holistic health, which includes even the environmental health, the political health, the economical health, social health, not just physical, mental, and emotional. And then we come to the next step, which is the creation of an enlightened society. And for that, we must prepare ourselves to share what I call the meditative way of life, to promote the meditative way of life on the basis of spirituality, love, peace, harmony, and then we create an enlightened society which can finally realize the vision of one earth, one sky, and one humankind. Thank you.
In recent years, Anand Krishna has emerged as the leading voice in Indonesia, openly promoting religious tolerance, interfaith fellowship, and spirituality. He has authored over 150 books dedicated to the realization of a simple message of peace, harmony, and holistic living. Krishna has founded schools, clinics, and ashrams, which serve as havens of conscious development and cultural preservation, and he has sponsored and hosted countless conferences, festivals, and cultural events, bringing together people from across all political, social, and religious divides. For over 25 years, he has lived a humble and reflective life in the service of others, dedicating his works and income to this chosen path.
We are here to fight. We are here to make no more Anand Krishnas in Indonesia, and we will set things right over here.
Karena itu setiap bentuk ketidakadilan yang menimpa manusia, siapapun dia, apapun dia, kita semua harus berteriak.
Seluruh orang waras di dunia membela beliau. Hanya orang yang tidak waras saja yang mempertanyakan beliau.
It's because the legal system, particularly the judiciary in Indonesia, is not independent. It's been hijacked to some extent by factions in Indonesia. But there are provisions in international law that forbid this.
Let's see if there is a truly independent legal system in Indonesia when it comes to Anand Krishna. Frivolous allegations were made against him in the hope that conviction would silence him forever. They clearly don't know Anand Krishna as well as I do, as he will never be silenced. I repeat, he will never be silenced.
What follows is the sequence of events which sought to destroy one of the world's greatest advocates of peace, liberty, and religious freedom. In early 2000, a group of Islamic radicals led by Adian Husseini, Secretary General of the Indonesian Committee for Solidarity of the Islamic World, began an extensive media campaign denouncing Anand Krishna and his books as anti-Islamic. In response to the black media campaign, Gus Dur, the late fourth president of Indonesia, deputized his nephew, Gus Wahid, to protect Anand Krishna and his ashram.
Saya itu menjadi presiden di saat Indonesia menghadapi bahaya akan terurai. Kelompok-kelompok separatis ada di mana-mana.
I met with President Wahid in 2004, and as long ago as that, he was warning, certainly he told me, that Indonesia was heading toward a descent into fundamentalism, and that if it remained unchecked, it would be a very serious matter indeed. Well, here we are, 2013, and it would appear that he was accurate.
Publishers of Anand's books were threatened by multiple radical organizations, causing all books to be recalled from bookstores. But just 1 week later, due to popular support, publishers began reselling Anand's books. Abrori Jabbar, a lawyer, and his wife, singer Dian Mayasari, attended the ashram and volunteered to arrange a meeting between Anand Krishna and the head of the radical group. During the meeting, the head of the group made a death threat against Anand Krishna, stating his reason that he would not be able to beat him in court. The meeting ended abruptly. In April 2005, Anand Krishna founded the National Integration Movement to promote and protect Indonesian national unity through cultural rejuvenation. In September 2005, the movement coordinated the first symposium in Indonesian history to unite 800 people, including many high-level dignitaries, to discuss key national issues in an independent forum. Following the substantial success of the first symposium, the Minister of Defense invited the National Integration Movement to promote a press conference to expose religious conflict in Indonesia as the source of national disintegration. Following the press conference, Abrori Jabbar resigned from the ashram, stating that his friends would not like to see Anand Krishna getting involved in a movement like this. 2 months later, Abrori recruited 2 of Anand's former devotees to send a summons to Anand in relation to the embezzlement of $14,000. The case was settled when the accusers withdrew their complaint after the police determined that there was insufficient evidence to proceed. On the 1st of June 2008, the National Alliance for Freedom of Religion and Belief held a peaceful rally in celebration of national ideology at the National Monument in Jakarta. Before the rally had even begun, those attending on behalf of the National Integration Movement were brutally attacked by the Islamic Defenders Front.
Polri harus mengambil tindakan hukum. Ini bukan negara rimba. Jadi mau tidak mau tangkap orang-orang itu.
Rizik Shihab, leader of the Islamic Defenders Front, was found guilty of instigating others to engage in collective violence against people or property for his involvement in the events of June 1st. Munarman, commander-in-chief of the Islamic Defenders Front, was found guilty of committing violence against people and property. They were each sentenced to 18 months in prison. In November 2009, the National Alliance for Freedom of Religion and Belief submitted the anti-blasphemy bill to the Constitutional Court. The purpose of the bill was to repeal the constitutional enactment, which requires Indonesian citizens to be a member of one of 6 religions. Anand Krishna was a signatory to the bill.
Someone was discussing with me, he said, there's no love in my religion. My religion speaks of salvation. Let's see. Al-Quran, Bible, Vedas, all these scriptures, they put love above all. You cannot separate God from love. There's love, there's God. There's no love, there's no God. There's something else. The first step towards non-violence is when you can say, you can declare, my religion is not better than yours.
Well, as for the anti-blasphemy bill, this is an all-too-familiar case of Anand Krishna putting his head above the parapet and becoming effectively a lone voice in the wilderness, despite the fact that this was a seminal bill, something of tremendous significance to the people of Indonesia at large, he stood alone and continues to stand alone.
In December 2009, Anand Krishna published a petition to prevent the burning of Christian churches by Muslim radicals. The petition received thousands of signatories in 75 countries before being submitted to the Indonesian parliament and government ministers. Following its submission, Anand Krishna and other primary members of Anand ashrams received multiple threats from various radical Islamic groups. On one occasion, while Krishna was delivering a speech, a ricocheting bullet narrowly missed him. On the 12th of February 2010, another black media campaign was initiated against Anand Krishna. Tara Lakshmi reported to the National Commission of Women that she had been sexually harassed by Anand Krishna. She was supported by Abrori and a group of Anand's former devotees.
Hari ini kamu lapor ke Polda Metro Jaya dengan tuduhan serius. Seorang Anand Krishna dikenal sebagai guru yang banyak murid, orang yang kayaknya baik begitu.
On the 25th of February 2010, multiple online media outlets reported that the sole accuser's lawyer had stated that the sexual harassment case was only an entry gate to the more serious problem of religious blasphemy.
Anand dirawat di Rumah Sakit Polri sejak Senin malam lalu karena pingsan setelah menjalani pemeriksaan di Polda Metro Jaya.
During the interrogations, he collapsed and was rushed to the police hospital.
Anand Krishna didiagnosa bigem ini oleh dokter yang merawat. Bigem ini adalah sebuah kondisi gangguan irama jantung. Risiko kegagalan fungsi jantung dan kematian penderita. Pada kasus Anand Krishna mengalami interogasi yang tidak manusiawi, di mana dalam 10 jam interogasi tidak boleh makan, istirahat, dan pergi ke toilet misalnya. Nah, kemudian kondisi Anand Krishna ini diperburuk oleh faktor-faktor sebelumnya, di mana sudah menderita hipertensi dan diabetes mellitus, dan juga sejak kecil sudah menderita asma dan pernah mengalami leukemia.
As the trial of Anand Krishna proceeded in September of 2010, tellingly, members of the Islamic Defenders Front were in attendance. During one of the hearings, Abrori Jabbar was called as a witness and confronted by a lawyer for the defense regarding the terms of reconciliation that he had presented to Anand Krishna to make the case, quote-unquote, go away, when they met several months earlier in Studio TV1.
Saudara saksi masih ingat pernah ketemu saya sebelum pemutaran atau kata-kata itu pun saya masih ingat ya. Karena sampai sekarang saya bertanya-tanya apa maksud kata-kata saudara saksi itu. Perkara ini atau masalah ini dapat stop. Saya tidak tahu. Tidak ada itu Pak. Ini kata-kata ini fitnah. Tidak ada itu. Jadi pada saat itu saudara saksi mengatakan bahwa masalah ini gampang selesai dengan 2 cara. Serahkan anak asram. Anand Krishna jangan disitu lagi. Ke saya dibilang gitu loh. Terlaknatlah dia demi Allah, demi Rasulullah. Jadi buat kamu. Dia bilang saya hati-hati yang mulia. Diancam saya yang mulia. Ini depan persidangan yang mulia.
In addition to appearing as Tara Lakshmi's personal therapist, Dewi Pratamo was permitted by the court to be an expert witness in the trial, denying any possibility of objectivity and representing a conflict of interest. Pratamo also claimed that after isolating her patient from the outside world for 4 months and conducting 45 sessions of hypnotherapy, she had successfully recovered repressed memories relating to the alleged offences from Tara.
Of course, according to Professor L.K. Suryani, she's the founder of the Committee Against Sexual Abuse, and she's also the chief of Psychiatric Laboratorium of Udayana University. And another person is Adi Gunawan. He's a leading expert in mind technology. And of course, they both say that conducting 45 hypnotherapy sessions to a patient would be considered an overdose.
Biasanya orang menghipnosis Ada waktunya mungkin seminggu atau 2 minggu sekali. Tapi kalau setiap hari selama 3 bulan, kalaupun ada, mungkin ini satu metode untuk brainwashing. Bagaimana menghapuskan memori diganti dengan memori baru.
Jadi sama sekali bukan mau sama mau. Maaf, enggak, makasih. Enggak sama sekali.
These are not isolated cases. Many witnesses were never questioned in relation to the sexual harassment charges at all, but instead the questions seemed to be more concerned with the issue of religious blasphemy.
She was asked, "What are you wearing the crystals? Whether you have any scents, any aromatherapy and thing?" Which is, it's not illegal. Everywhere you go, it's available. When it's available, it's not illegal. I'm not breaking the law. So what's there to be scared of? Why are these questions being brought to court? This is my question.
In March 2011, Anand Krishna was detained by the court. Before either he or the witnesses had given their testimony, he was not permitted to provide an alibi. In response to the unlawful detainment, Anand Krishna began a hunger strike, which lasted for 49 days.
Now here we see that after having complete picture of what happened and what did not happen, she just wanted to have one goal. The public prosecutor in this case did not have the goal of finding the truth. She just had the goal of putting Anand Krishna behind the bars.
Loh, bagaimana sekarang dengan sikap hakim yang sudah dalam penetapannya menyatakan Pak Anand itu sudah bersalah sebenarnya? Ini boleh bilang mendahului putusan dan ini jelas melanggar ketentuan hukum yang ada.
Yang amat jarang, aneh, saya sendiri tidak 50 tahun praktik jarang memerintahkan penahanan. Kecuali kalau terdakwanya misalnya perilakunya di sidang amat katakanlah melanggar umum, melarikan diri, ya atau mulai kejahatan. Ini tidak ada bukti apa-apa pun tiba-tiba dia penahanan.
Apa yang dipikir dan ditulis seseorang bukan unsur untuk diadili.
Bagaimana orang seperti Pak Anand harus dibegitukan dan dibiarkan seperti itu.
Kondisi seperti ini semestinya peradilan mengambil satu kebijakan untuk mencabut penahanan.
On the 16th of March 2011, Anand Krishna collapsed on entry to the courtroom as a result of the Bijamini condition. He was left for several hours on court grounds without medical assistance. Finally, a doctor arrived on the scene, forcing the prosecutor and judges to commit Krishna to be rushed to hospital. 2 days later, he was once again rushed to hospital after his health deteriorated. His blood sugar level had dropped to 64, and he had suffered a minor stroke.
Dengan latar belakang kondisi kesehatan Anand Krishna, beliau membutuhkan perawatan di rumah sakit oleh tim medis. Pemindahan Anand Krishna ke rutan dapat memperburuk kondisi kesehatannya, seperti tidak terkontrolnya gula darah yang mengakibatkan stroke, koma, sampai berujung pada kematian.
Anand Ashram supporters held a peaceful protest at South Jakarta District Court, demanding the replacement of Hari Sasanka.
Tidak membawa keuntungan, tetapi kami datang membawa hati nurani. Oleh karena itu, satu tuntutan kami kepada Ketua Pengadilan Negeri Jakarta Selatan, yaitu untuk mengganti Ketua Majelis Hakim Hari Sasanka.
Also during the course of the trial, the senior judge was discovered engaging in a private relationship with a key prosecution witness. Covert photographic evidence clearly shows a 2-hour meeting in a car in an underground parking lot late at night, after which the judge emerged holding a stuffed envelope. The hunger strike ended on the 26th of April, when the judge ordered the detainment order be suspended.
Laporan akan ditindaklanjuti oleh tim investigasi Komisi Yudisial, saksi dan alat bukti yang diberikan.
Laporan ini didasarkan dugaan pelanggaran kode etik yang dilakukan Hakim Hari Sasangka karena telah melakukan kontak dengan saksi korban wanita dalam kasus Anand Krishna.
On the 8th of June 2011, as a result of the evidence presented, the head of the South Jakarta District Court ordered the replacement of the entire panel of judges. Judge Hari Sasangka was handed a 6-month disciplinary sanction by the Supreme Court. Mrs. Albertina Ho, the presiding judge, came to the case with an outstanding reputation for upholding the rule of law. During the trial, a number of facts emerged which provided strong evidence of a conspiracy against Anand Krishna.
Saya pernah menonton acara waktu Tara di televisi. Saya heran melihat kok Tara yang pernah katanya mengalami pelecehan seksual, senyum-senyum, tertawa, ngobrol dengan berileks, seperti tidak ada beban. Apa benar dia mengalami seperti itu? Karena dalam pengalaman saya menangani pasien, betapa beratnya dia untuk menceritakan, walaupun kami berdua, apalagi ini di televisi.
On October 26th, the prosecutor read the indictment, which entirely misrepresented the events of the trial. It should be noted that Prosecutor Berliana had been involved in 2 previous cases of questionable integrity, in which similar falsifications were used to secure convictions.
The indictment failed to provide exact dates or times when the alleged sexual assaults occurred to the alleged victims, mentioning only late June 2009, the end of May 2009, and early April 2009, providing Anand Krishna with no opportunity to present an alibi.
Apa yang terjadi? 21 Maret itu Pak Anand tidak ada di tempat kejadian yang dia bilang, yaitu di Ciawi. Pak Anand ada di tempat lain, yaitu lagi melakukan open house di Sunter. Dan itu disaksikan oleh banyak orang. Bahkan ada bukunya, buku terima tamu, ya. Bahkan kita perlihatkan kepada majelis hakim, ini loh. Itu namanya apa? Alibi. Bagaimana terjadi 21 Maret itu pelecehan di satu tempat kalau Pak Anandnya nggak ada?
On November 22, 2011, Judge Albertina Ho acquitted Anand Krishna of all charges, reinstating his civil rights. On the 2nd of December 2011, Tara Lakshmi's lawyer falsified a report to a judicial commission accusing the presiding judges of illegal and inappropriate conduct. Despite the Attorney General's instruction to his deputies not to appeal innocent verdicts, the public prosecutor appealed the acquittal verdict to the Supreme Court. The appeal misrepresented the facts of the case.
I mean, imagine the case in question, a registered case from the West Java District Court, is included in Anand Krishna's case. And that case was dated on 21st April 2006.
Well, this is a classic scenario which is all too well observed and noted in history. A spiritual teacher being reduced to a sexual deviant by nothing more, nothing less than character assassination.
Kalau Pak Anand kami tembak, seluruh Indonesia dan dunia akan bersujud pada Pak Anand dan Pak Anand akan jadi seorang santo. Sehingga yang kami lakukan adalah membunuh karakternya biar Pak Anand dicaci maki, dibenci dan ditinggalkan oleh pengikutnya. Itu jauh lebih kejam dari sebuah pembunuhan fisik.
On the 24th of July 2012, without public trial, a panel of 3 judges in the Supreme Court overturned the acquittal. They sentenced Krishna to 2.5 years in prison. The verdict is considered null and void under Indonesian law for failing on 4 counts to comply with Article 197, Section 1 of the Indonesian Criminal Code.
Another section of the Constitution, Article 28, says every person shall have the right of recognition, guarantees, protection and certainty before a just law and equal treatment before the law. What that means, that's written in legalese. What it means in ordinary language is that the street vendor in this country, the waiters in this restaurant, the people sitting in this room had exactly the same rights as the President of Indonesia. The problem is Anand was not given those rights.
Let me repeat, Anand was acquitted of all charges. Article number 244 specifically and unequivocally states that a public prosecutor may not submit an appeal to the Supreme Court where the outcome is one of acquittal.
Adalah tanggung jawab setiap manusia yang bebas untuk membantu menegakkan hukum jika kita ingin mempertahankan kebebasan kita yang amat sakral ini.
Halaman 38 dari 43 ya. Ini saya sampai bingung. Profesor aja sampai bingung dan makanya dia jangan nggak ngerti.
Kalau hak konstitusional itu sudah dilanggar berdasarkan Undang-Undang 39, kita boleh menggunakan forum-forum internasional.
Kerugian hak konstitusional yang dialami oleh terdakwa yang namanya Anand Krishna.
Bapak Anand Krishna sedang menghadapi suatu nasib bangsa yang tidak bersatu. Semua diancam oleh organisasi-organisasi yang mengatasnamakan satu agama.
This does not reflect well on this beautiful country, on this young, beautiful, noble country. So change it. When it is not serving you, change it. Get angry, people. Rise, be angry about this, because it is this man right now. Tomorrow it is you, any of us. When human rights are violated like this, nobody is safe in this world. Nobody.
Despite being directly informed of his whereabouts, the Attorney General nonetheless issued a statement to the media that Krishna was a fugitive.
Buron gimana? Sejak hari pertama di sini saya udah kirim surat kemana-mana saya di sini. Saya tidak bersalah. Kalau saya bersalah saya buron. Kalau saya bersalah teman-teman nggak akan tetap mendukung saya.
In December 2012, one of the Supreme Court judges who had overturned the acquittal was dishonorably discharged by the Justice Ethics Council for commuting the sentence of a convicted drug lord without proper cause. Another Supreme Court judge was reported to the Commission of Corruption Eradication for allegedly accepting a bribe.
This is about fear, this is about control, this is about certain interests keeping the good population of Indonesia in that state of distress, precisely in order that they can drive ahead with socio-economic and socio-political agendas which do not in any way, shape or form have the best interests of people at heart.
At the end of December 2012, the Indonesian National Commission on Human Rights issued a letter of recommendation to the Supreme Court, the Attorney General, and the Indonesian National Police, stating that there were strong indications of human rights violations in the proceedings against Anand Krishna. They recommended that the verdict not be enforced until the case had been properly reviewed. A few weeks later, over 100 enforcers arrived at Anand's ashram in Ubud, Bali, to forcibly execute the unlawful judgment against Krishna.
Saya juga Bapak sebagai apa, Bapak? Saya sebagai anaknya. Silakan, ada pengacara, silakan.
duduk bicara dengan baik. Kenapa hal ini sampai terjadi di wilayah kami?
Friends, I would like to tell you that I am not doing this voluntarily. I am not surrendering voluntarily, no. I am doing this as a protest against the unlawful overturn of the acquittal, and also to save my friends who have been beaten from morning. I don't want them to be in any kind of mishap.
On the afternoon of February 16, 2013, Anand Krishna was transported to Cipinang prison in Jakarta, where he remains to this day. This film is the first time the story is being told to the world at large, and it is made in the hope that people of the international community will unite in condemning one of the greatest travesties of human rights in Indonesia today and demanding the immediate release of Anand Krishna.
I was with Anand Krishna the day of his unlawful arrest, and we were barricaded inside the chapel at his ashram, and we had over 200 goons and secret police on the outside beating his followers, trying to get their way into the chapel. I asked Anand Krishna how he was doing, and he smiled. He was not afraid, but he was sad. He knew that justice would not be served on that day. He knew that the honor of Indonesia was lost on that day. He understood that he is an archetype in this story. He understood that he is a symbol of the struggle for the modern Indonesian soul. He was saddened for the same reason that anyone looking in would be saddened by this tale, and that is that when such things happen and such travesties of law prevail in broad daylight, human rights no longer exist. The constitution of a country like Indonesia is rendered worthless, certainly not worth the paper it was written on. And every man, woman and child in this country remains unsafe so long as Anand Krishna languishes in a prison cell. Apparently, the rule of law has not just been broken. Apparently, it doesn't exist at